Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Bedford County Sports Talk Live. I'm David Thomas. I have Mr. Bill Anderson, and I don't know who the guy is down there on the end. He ain't been with us in so long. I forgot. What's his name?
Kenny Parker.
Kenny Claus. You've been doing some umpiring.
I've been on the ball field. Got to go today.
Well, it's that time. It looks like it's going to be a little rainy today. You think you'll be on?
Last night I got canceled, but I go to Murfreesboro today. But the thing about it is we got Riverdale's artificial turf, so
that makes it.
We have to fall back. We'll fall back on the turf.
Yeah. Well, before we dive in today, guys, let's thank our sponsors: First Bank of Shelbyville, Corner Cleaners, and Kincaid
Service
Company.
Let's pause now and hear from one of those guys.
We provide quality services you can rely on. Located in Shelbyville, we're the area's leading dry cleaner, proudly serving customers throughout Bedford County since 2001. We provide same-day dry cleaning and laundry service as well as tuxedo rentals. For customer convenience, we offer delivery and also have a drive-through and overnight drop box.
For all your dry cleaning needs, call Corner Cleaners.
All righty, welcome back in here to everybody. And we got a special hello out to Miss Helen Raby this morning. Miss Helen, our number one fan.
Helen, good to hear from you again.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Bedford County sports. We've got high school baseball and softball getting to tournament time. And I know Shelbyville Central is already come and gone.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
And both of them?
Oh, yeah.
No, the softball.
I like softball too, but I couldn't find a score on that.
Yeah, I know. It's been like that all year for some reason.
Coffee County the other day. I'm not sure.
Coffee County's pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, well, you got some
had senior night out here Monday night, and Shelbyville beat Lawrence County 6-2 to get their 20th win of the season, which is always a nice milestone. And then we get to the tournament. So we got down there. We had Warren County, and we lost. And had beaten them twice previously. We get beat 7-6. Then had to come back last night, play Warren County again, and we beat them 12-2 this time. And then we had to play Lincoln County last night on the end of a double hitter and got beat 9-0. So there's your double elimination. Shelbyville's out.
So losing that first in the Warren County killed us.
It's hard to lose early in a tournament.
It's tough.
One run.
And I do think, though, Lincoln County is the class of the district.
Yeah. Well, it's been that way all year, pretty much.
And I don't know. I think we got Columbia and Spring Hill will meet Lincoln County, but I think Lincoln County hits better than everybody else does.
Yeah.
Right. Pitching's all right, but their hitting's really good.
Well, you mentioned the 20-win season. That's good, but I know they'd rather have 119 and still be playing.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, that's why kind of way they geared their season earlier on in the year when he first came on with us. Coach told us, hey, it's not about what we do right now. These first few games, we're going to be testing things out and getting things lined up, and it's what happens at the end of the season, unfortunately.
And looking back at it, what was really tough about the season to me was you started out 0-4 in the district, and those two losses to Coffee County haunted us because I really believe when the district proved that way, we were better than Coffee County.
Yeah, you ended up taking a bad position.
Right, and then that puts you because, well, really one of those games, either we beat Spring Hill the second time here or we beat Coffee County one of those two times, we would have been hosting here, and we would have been the 2 seed, and that would have made a difference.
So you go back, that district schedule is important.
Oh, absolutely, it's important.
Especially when your tournament's higher seed host. Yes.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, though, if you go back and try to rethink that strategy of early on. I know they want to win every game, but it sounds like to me he was experimenting a little bit to see what he had where.
When you go back and rethink all that stuff, you always change.
Yeah, I know it. It's always a learning process. So
Cascade's still rolling.
Congratulations to them, the team, and Kyler Trice getting back on.
Absolutely. And we're going to still do a wrap-up show. And this time we're going to do it from the press box out there and show that facility off a little bit, David. And we'll do it here soon.
Yeah. All righty. So what else we got?
All right, you got Cascade. They split with Marshall County. They beat them 3-2 at Cascade. They lost out at Marshall County 8-1. And their game last night with, I believe, County got rained out. It's playing today.
I don't know who they were playing, but it's canceled last night. Them and softball both, and I think they're both playing today at Cascade at 3:00.
Because Cascade, I believe, is the 1 seed in this district for us, the 2. Is that correct?
I have no idea.
Let me ask y'all something about this.
I'm pretty sure Cascade's the 1.
And this is something I hadn't understood all year, but I don't dive into baseball like you do. How are these divisions set up? How does Cascade and Marshall County end up in the same district?
basically the same as football.
Yeah.
Well, Marshall County and
it's not-
Cascade.
it's
That's not a
Yeah.
district game. This was
Oh.
Marshall County was not a district
Okay,
game.
I got you. Okay,
That was kind of
okay.
like us playing Lawrence County. Marshall
Yeah,
County's not
okay,
in there.
okay,
Forest
all
is in
right.
our.
The baseball, softball districts
same.
are the same as the
Okay.
basketball.
Okay,
Football's on its own,
right.
and then all the other sports are booked in.
Right.
The ones that you do basketball until you get into wrestling.
Yeah.
And wrestling's
Yeah.
just a couple.
It's its own. It's its own thing.
It's its own thing.
Yeah.
Like Cascade and Community and all wrestle against Tullahoma.
I've had several people ask me that. How in the world does Cascade and Community have to play some of the bigger schools that they're having to play, and that's off their district schedule or region schedule, and they're just scheduling them to get better, to play better competition.
Get you
But
ready for the district.
I look at Community, and they're paired up with Giles County in football. There's no way that should be.
Well, it's just all
It's just
based
the way it
on
is.
numbers.
I know,
It's
and,
all,
and
it's,
you know how
it's
Giles County does their thing.
it's all
10,
based
11,
on
12.
That's right. Because the ninth grade is separate.
Based on numbers.
Yeah.
Ninth grade's in a separate building. Is how they get away
All
with
right.
that.
Sorry to chase that rabbit.
Community beat Cornersville 12-2, and they also got their first district win 6-2 over Cannon County, and I believe they got put out though by. I believe they're out because they lost to Grundy County 12-1, and
All right.
I believe they're done for the year.
So
Is that a double
Cascade.
elimination? It's double elimination.
Yeah, I think they lost another game though.
Okay.
All right, so Cascade's still in the mix. They get to start theirs today, right?
And Community may have a game left. I couldn't find.
Yeah, I know.
the second score.
I don't know anything about the baseball, but I
Yeah.
know that Cascade softball
Yeah.
starts today. Their winner will play Forest, who is the number 1
And
seed.
the number 2 seed's Community.
Community's the number 2 seed. They played Cannon County the other night, beat them pretty handily.
16-0.
Pretty handily, and they'll be sitting back waiting for the winner of the.
Community girls had a
Forest
good
and
week.
whoever.
They beat Grundy County 10-0, but had a big win over Eagleville. Eagle's pretty good in
Yeah, they
softball,
are.
baseball. Eagle's pretty good at everything.
Community girls are they can play. They're pretty good. I will say the Eagleville number 1 pitcher, she's out for a while, but they've got a freshman that's really good.
You know, Eagleville's turned into a place that back in the day wasn't what it is now. They kind of got the pick of the litter on some of these kids over in Rutherford County.
They got the pick.
They really do.
In Rutherford County, you're zoned unless you want to go to Eagleville. And anybody in Rutherford County can go to Eagleville as long as they provide their own transportation. If a person is zoned for Riverdale and they want to go to Oakland, they cannot do
Right.
it. But if they're zoned for Oakland or Riverdale and they want to go to Eagleville, they can go as long as they provide their own transportation.
Until we pass this new rule that gives you that one-time deal, and then
Well, let me ask
like
you guys
crazy.
this. I had Ms. Rhodes up here from Bedford County Schools. She's in charge of the open enrollment.
Teresa,
Okay, yeah, Teresa. We talked about open enrollment and what it's open to anybody, and it's all grades if they have opportunities.
if they have the space open.
If they have the space open, you can do it. And you go online. It started May 1st, goes through May 31st, and July 1st they'll have it all set up. So if a kid playing baseball, this is about the school though. This isn't about sports. If he's playing baseball right now in Cascade, and he all of a sudden his parents say, "I think you'd be better at Community," and they decide to go to Community, go through open enrollment, apply, and get accepted. What happens is his eligibility. Is he good? He got to sit out a year. Okay. So
unless this new rule, when it goes
Unless the
into effect,
new rule, unless the
Comes up.
new
Yeah.
rule where you got 1 free transfer.
all right, so that clears that up. I had that question in my mind while we're going.
I
all
don't
over
think
the
it
details.
does. I don't
Yeah.
think it does because I don't think it does.
but, you know, even with my daughter, of course, part of why me and my wife sent her to Cascade Middle School was this guy's brother was the principal.
Yeah.
And it worked out pretty good. But when it came to high school, Julia wanted to take more advanced college courses that Cascade didn't offer. And that's sort of why we went back to Central. And she's ahead of the game at MTSU for doing that because they offered more.
Right.
And that was why so we drove her to Cascade ourselves.
I mean, there's two sides of this coin. If you look at it from an academic standpoint, and the parents feel like that this child's going to be better suited to go to another school because of whatever reason.
Well, I do think Dr. Garrett's done a really nice job. This is off sports, and I'll make it brief. But I think now we're offering more at Cascade than we were 5 years ago, and Community.
Yeah.
It's balanced
Yeah.
out, man.
They are.
Yeah, it's
They are.
balanced out.
Where it wasn't 7, 8 years ago.
But if a parent makes that decision and this kid has an opportunity to get a scholarship playing a sport, then they're penalized. If they're really and then some people say, well, they're just going out there to play sports. It ain't always like that. It could be. It could be.
But I am afraid about the transfer rules. Coach Jones and I were talking about. I think we did when he was on last week. Is let's say Coach Parker, you discipline a kid, and Robbie Davis is over here. Well, all of a sudden, I'm mad at Coach Parker for disciplining me, so I go over to Coach Davis over here.
Yeah,
and that's a concern with this is going to be that if
filtering down from the college.
Yeah,
it is. You got the genie's out of the bottle, guys.
Exactly. All right. Jonathan Spence has come in. He missed a minute ago. How did Central do last night? You will give those scores.
Yeah, we'll go back and do that one more time. We beat Warren County, which was the second time we played them. We lost the first time 7-6, which was not good. And then we had to play them again because Lincoln County, I think, pounded Warren, and we won 12-2. The second time Stephen Bobo pitched that game.
And last night.
And this was last night, too. I think we had to play 2 games last night. Then we have to come back and play Lincoln County. We got beat 9-0. So we're out.
Out of the tournament, John. Early exit.
Unfortunate.
All right. What else we got high school-wise? Guys, this season, we started last July with preseason football. And we've got football, basketball, baseball.
I will say
it's not even just basketball. 3 weeks of school left.
I know. 3 weeks of school left.
I understand correctly. I think Shelby will spring practices next week in football, if I heard that
Very
right.
well. I mean, with 3 weeks of school left, with 15 days of school
So
left.
he did it later.
Yeah.
You probably
I believe
well,
it is.
maybe we can get a report.
He's going to get his baseball kids over there now.
Maybe we can get our report on that for next week's show. But next week's show is going to be our wind down for the season. This thing went fast, guys.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it did. What else we got, Bill? Anything else high school wise?
Of course, when we come back, we'll be in July. We'll have mini camps to talk about. We'll have Coach Dryden show, get it back rolling again for the scrimmages and whatnot. And it's going to be exciting. Anytime we can get back to football, it's a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's pause right now, and we'll come back in just a few minutes right after we hear from our sponsor.
Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street today.
Welcome back in here, and we especially want to thank Kincaid Service Company that we just heard from there. Yes. They've been a sponsor for us all year, and they will continue to be our sponsors going forward through the summer and everything because we've got a lot of other programming coming up.
Right.
Guys, and you've said this 100 times, Bill, you don't like to haul stuff off.
Not doing
They'll do it for you. Last week, you got a story about that.
I have a story. I had a friend of mine who was watching the program, and his refrigerator went out. And he got to thinking he was going to go to Lowe's. But he said, I just watched the show, got to thinking about that ad. And I decided to call Mark Kincaid up because I didn't want to move it. And he bought a refrigerator. And he was happy he did it because he said they came on a Saturday. All they all went off, hooked him up. He was good to go.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
That'd be my friend Tony Sanders.
There you go.
I've got one of these built-in refrigerators. You know, they built a house around it, and it'd been there for years and years and years. We had to have it replaced. So Mark ordered me one. He got his crew over there putting it in. And it was like this much too tall. So Mark himself got up on a ladder and he sawed that little thing off right there and made sure it would fit in there. It fits like a glove now. It looks like it's built in the house like it never happened. But he did that himself.
Right.
Climbed up on a ladder, got it done. So you can't beat the guys over there. They are the bomb.
Yep.
What else we got, Bill? What about college now?
Well, we got the transfer portal in basketball. We'll mention a couple of things. Jonas Adu from Tennessee, the big 6'11" kid, he transfers to
Arkansas.
And John Calipari strikes again.
Yeah.
It's coming, folks.
So now we went from NBA in Lexington to NBA in Fayetteville.
And he's taking Kentucky kids right and left. You just wait and see what he puts together. It's going to – I don't know how they'll do, but it's going to be –
here's the thing.
Good.
Is it just going to be a carbon copy of Kentucky? One and in?
I don't know this time. He's hitting his portal the way he's hitting it. This one may be a little different this time.
Yeah, I mean, when you hit
These
the
are older
portal, when
kids.
you hit the portal, you're getting older kids.
It's going to be different.
Yeah, you got juniors and seniors coming through.
And if he can get the others, it's probably a bit harder for him to get the draw to the Arkansas name than it was the Kentucky name.
NIL.
But in the past, yeah, the NILs is
because here's what I had heard. The NIL with Kentucky was about 3.5 million. His NIL at Arkansas is 6 million, nearly double.
Wow.
Give Calipari some more money to see what you get.
Yeah, man, it's just like a franchise.
And I will say this, and I know some Kentucky fans were upset with him and what have you, but be careful what you wish for sometimes.
That's right.
Be careful what you wish for. The man had won a national championship. He'd been to the Final Fours. He'd done some things. And yes, there was a lot of one and dones, but you had the number one recruiting class in America during there every year. He was putting people in the NBA. Everybody in the country wanted to play for him. And I don't know how no one's going to recruit like Cal did.
All right. It's like, I think he just shifted Lexington to Fayetteville.
But Arkansas has a tremendous history.
Oh, yeah.
They've got a good.
Walton Arena is awesome.
When Nolan Richardson was there, and they
oh
were,
yeah.
oh god,
they were the dog. You didn't want to play them.
No, they were.
Before
Eddie Sutton was there, they were good. I mean,
before Arkansas shifted into the SEC, that basketball, that's the Midwest team. They were the team.
If you're in basketball, this is me.
Coach Musselman had been to 2 Elite Eights. The guy that just left, they had success with him as well.
To me, you don't copy Arkansas, you don't copy Kentucky, you copy Connecticut. You see what UConn's doing because they're doing it right.
Yeah, they are. And it's like they don't have that one or two big superstars. They just all good.
Mm-hmm.
They're all talented. They're all athletic, and they all bought into the system.
And somebody will be good tonight, and it'll be the next man's turn the next night.
It's a team.
Mm-hmm.
It's a team sport at the college level.
Mm-hmm.
It's a star sport at the NBA level.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing this shift into the pros are filtering down to all the way down to high school and Pee Wee now.
Yeah.
You see the attitude coming from them all the way down through the players.
And I'm still a firm believer that you're going to see this NIL affect pros. I don't think the quality of the sport's going to be as good.
I think we saw it this year in the draft. I think we saw it this year with so many kids not coming out because my NIL deal was better in college. So if I'm going to be a 4th, 5th, 6th round pick, I might as well stay in school.
That was a fact that there weren't as many undergraduate players coming out in the draft this year in football.
And then I not only stay in school, I don't like my school. I go get a better NIL deal and I swap.
Yeah.
This portal is crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, for example, Toby Walker goes to Arizona, but they picked up Igor Milicic, whatever his name is, 6'10", 225 from Charlotte. But this guy's been all over the place at other big schools.
Yeah.
Felix Okapar from Ohio State. That's a big-time transfer. The main target thereafter is Chaz Lanier, 6'4" shooting guard, averages 25 points a game. He can shoot it. I'm not going to compare him to Dalton Connect, but he's that type of guy.
Well, I mean, he came in. Speaking of Dalton Connect, I don't know anything about the NBA draft. I don't follow the NBA. When I pass by it, I glance at it, but I'll still pass on by it. Do you guys think he's going to be number 1 pick?
I don't know if he's going to be number 1, but I think he's going to be top 3 or 4.
I don't know anything about it.
I don't either. I just feel like there's some people saying he's number 1.
And he could be. And the difference is he can do some things in the end. I wish Keon would have stayed at Tennessee another year or two and developed.
Oh, could you imagine those two guys finishing together?
Oh, and the Chandler kid should have stayed, in my opinion. Yeah. But this Connect guy is going to be a lottery top 5, top 2, 3 pick in the NBA because he's 6'8", handle the basketball, shoot it.
Yeah.
And if you got to have those skills.
Hey, if you're going into the NBA, you got to be tall and you got to be able to hit the 3.
You can't be 6'5" and not be able to shoot.
That's right.
And then not only you got to be able to, you're 6'5", you're undersized for the NBA.
That's right.
You're undersized.
Even at point guard.
Even at point guard. A lot of point guards are 6'9", 6'8".
And of course, there are a few exceptions, Steph Curry, but the guy can hit from half court. I mean, he's just a freak of nature.
Now, not to get off on the NBA, but I will. Why I can't watch it, they play no defense whatsoever. It's like watching an all-star game. It's up and down the floor. And there's no strategy.
Every can't even double team.
Hey, every
kind of zone.
Every layup is traveling.
Yes.
They'll take 3 or 4 or 5 steps.
Every one of them.
And they ought to take that 3-point line of the NBA and move it back. Move it out farther.
And it's something else that you see that's
move the rim up to about 12 or 14.
Yeah, that'll even it out. But you look at the way these guys in the NBA handle the ball. It's filtering over to the college game. They're doing this all the time.
All the time.
They're carrying that ball. They're turning it over. They'll hesitate and hold it in their hand while they keep their feet moving. And that's traveling.
What was the kid's name at Purdue, the big boy?
Ely.
How does he translate versus Dalton Connect in the draft? Connect's a better NBA prospect than Ely is, even though Ely's 7'6", because the game's changed. They're going to run
circles around him.
Well, and the game's changed.
Yeah.
You don't. Ely doesn't have any perimeter skills at all. The game's different now. They're not going to let you just sit down there and do what He did in college.
No. He's not going to be able to park in the lane like that in the NBA. They'll be down there. They'll be past him before he even gets set up.
So I don't think he's going to be as high a pick as one of the. I think he'll be a first round pick, no doubt, but he's not going to be a top 5 guy, I don't think.
All right, what else we got, Bill?
College baseball, Tennessee had the big winning streak going there for a little while. They went up to Kentucky, took 2 out of 3, swept Missouri, and then they lost to David Lipscomb 6-9 this week. Lipscomb 16-27, having a rough year. And then last night, doubleheader, Tennessee won 6-2 over Florida, and then got beaten the nightcap 4-3. The big story here is Tennessee right now is the 2 seed in the tournament, and now they go to Vanderbilt right up the road here for a series to end here. But here was an interesting stat for you guys in college baseball. The last 2 national champions are LSU and Ole Miss. Both of them are 7-14 in the Southeastern Conference.
Wow. Yeah, there was word that the LSU won it all last year, and they might not even make their own conference tournament this year.
And Ole Miss won it the year before.
Wow.
So that's just kind of an interesting.
Do you guys think that the SEC is still the cream of the crop?
It is.
Absolutely.
I do too.
And softball.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the sneaky team that's coming and playing really well.
And we'll get better next year.
Oh, absolutely.
Oklahoma and Texas come in.
Oh, yeah.
Mississippi State's come on here lately and gone from the bottom and coming to the top. That's a team that can make some noise.
Mississippi State's a baseball tradition.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Well, let's take another little break and hear from one of our sponsors again. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about what's happened in the NFL, any Titans talk that we might have, any post draft talk. We'll get into that, and then we'll wind things down. We'll be back right after this. All righty. Again, we want to thank First Bank for being our sponsor here on Bedford County.
The longest.
Yep, been here from day one. We appreciate their sponsorship and allowing us to be able to come to you guys and do this every week. Bill, since the draft, there's been a lot of stuff going on.
Sure.
Titans wise, where are we at? I know you got some.
I got a little bit here. Tyler Boyd was with the Bengals was up here, and he left without a contract. I think he thinks a little more how much he's worth versus what he really is going to be worth. There was a rumor out that he'd signed a 2-year, $15 million deal. That is not true. It was falsely reported. He went out to the Chargers and met with them, but the Chargers just signed DJ Chark.
Right.
So I don't. Do you need Boyd? Boyd would be a reliable veteran.
All right. Callahan comes out on Monday and he praises Traylon Burks. And he says Burks, he's doing everything. He's had a bunch of good days of mini camp, doing very well. He's high on him, and then this happens. What does that do to Traylon Burks?
I don't know that it does much to Traylon Burks as it probably does to Kyle Phillips.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. I think Kyle Phillips is the guy because you drafted a guy, Jaquan Jackson out of Tulane, that's your punt returner that kind of takes that role of Phillips. So I think this is more of a Kyle Phillips may be gone.
Yeah, but this also the kickoffs are going to be different this year too.
Yes.
You got to have that returner back there.
But I think you may see more running backs in that role than receivers because of the way the rule's going to be.
So you're thinking then the punter is going to be your receiver and your kickoff returner is going to be a running back.
That's what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be people like Spears and Pollard that are that kind of back because Pollard was a heck of a returner at Memphis, if y'all remember.
Yeah.
That was what he was known for in college, and that'll be interesting to see. But the big need to me with the Titans, y'all guys, is we need a safety. There's a lot of them out here. Justin Simmons is sitting out here from Denver. We've still got $30-something million in money. And you're going to have to you need one to start, not a depth piece. We need a starter.
Just because you got it, don't wastefully spend it.
But you do need a safety. And I'd rather see us get a safety than another wide receiver. But an interesting guy that they got that I hear they love is this kicker out of North Carolina State, which surprised me. And they paid him some money because if you can tell on these undrafted free agents who got the big money is who they think can make the team.
Right.
And they paid this guy pretty good, Braden Norfolson, and apparently he's got a giant leg. And Nick Folk, guys, he's an older kicker, had a great year.
Yeah,
but he's 38, 39. You need a kicker for the future. This guy right here might stick.
Yeah. And what about Stonehouse, our punter? I know he was injured.
He's injured, and I don't know where we're at on that right now because that was a serious injury, and I'm afraid he may not be ready.
Man, he was the best punter in the league.
In the league.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no
and we didn't take him in the 4th round.
Yeah.
And when Chicago did that, I just wanted to throw it. You take a
hey,
punter in the 4th round.
You know why Chicago did that?
Why?
That was their last pick. They had no more draft picks.
Well, that's why you trade
That
down.
was-
You get more picks, and then you take the punter later because
Well,
nobody else was going to do it.
If somebody was wanting to.
Did they not have a
negotiate with
need for something else?
Yeah, absolutely. They
I
got
don't know.
needs.
you,
Everybody
they had
got needs.
4 picks in the draft.
Yeah.
2 in the first 10.
Yep.
And then 2 after that.
But if I've only got 4 picks, one of them ain't gonna be no
That-
punter.
That's
Well,
right.
unless your need is a punter.
I go get me a punter.
Yeah, I go get
They're
me a
standing
punter.
around lined up.
I hear
Stonehouse
you.
was undrafted.
We go down to the professional soccer league and find
Right.
somebody.
Find somebody.
Hey, those guys can boot the ball, man. These soccer players are something else.
The other draft pick for the Titans that I think is interesting is going to be this James Williams out of Miami. He's grown on me. I've watched a little more film of him. 6'4", 231.
He's a safety.
He's a safety. They're going to move him to linebacker. He's going to be a hybrid player. But his measurables are just like Cam Chancellor that used to play for Seattle, right down to the size, the speed, everything.
If he's got the speed, why won't they just leave him at safety? Right?
Well, I think that they're thinking this new defensive coordinator, he's really good at tackling, and they're going to try to put some weight on him. And I don't know that he's an in-the-box safety, which means he can cover. He'll be good at that. But his measurables are great at linebacker.
So a linebacker, he's going to give you pass protection. He will play that role.
And he might be able to cover a tight end.
and maybe a tight end. I just don't know that his speed's where it needs to be to play the safety. But everything that I see out of this defensive coordinator, I'm liking. I mean, there's going to be a lot of hybrid fronts and a lot of different things. And that was another guy they got.
Do you see a roster starting to form here
Yes.
before anything happens?
And
Do you
I see the roster form, and I also see depth pieces now
Okay.
where you're getting some depth.
You got to have depth all the way around at every position because somebody's getting hurt.
Well, do y'all
The
see?
Somebody-
fifth round
getting
pick,
hurt.
Brownlee, the
Yeah.
fifth round pick from Louisville. He was an FSU player at Florida State, another transfer guy that was a 4 or 5-star recruit. The kid I just talked about, James Williams, he went to IMG, 5-star recruit coming out because he's such a great athlete. So the depth and the kid from Louisville at corner, you can't ever have enough corners.
Do you see any of the undrafted free agents making the roster?
Yes, I think there's a chance that Dylan Johnson, that running back from Washington, had 17 touchdowns and had that great run.
Yeah.
Went undrafted. I'm shocked.
That was
Couldn't the Dallas Cowboys use that guy?
you would
The
think
7th round or something?
over
nothing.
yeah.
They didn't sign anybody.
Yeah.
And there's a tight end called David Martin Robinson out of Temple. But the big guy that I think's got a chance is Cole Spencer, the guard from Texas Tech. The interesting thing about him is he played at Western Kentucky, and he's from around here.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's from Kentucky.
What about our Tennessee boys that got
I don't see them having much of a chance to make the ball club.
maybe a practice?
There's
squad
another
or
kid from the edge rusher from Kansas State, Khalid Duke, that a lot of people thought would get drafted. And I'm going to mention Kings Packers real quick.
something? All right, let's talk about the Packers.
Y'all had one pick I love. Edgren Cooper, I thought was the best linebacker in the
You know,
draft.
I agree, but here's my
Love
thing.
that
I don't disagree with. I think the Packers hit their needs
They had a lot of
because
picks.
they didn't. They had a lot of picks, but they didn't pick for starters. They picked for depth and to improve.
Edgren Cooper can start for you.
Edwin Cooper. Now they're needing a linebacker. He can
He
start,
can play.
but you know when they pick their next linebacker,
Kid from Missouri.
the kid from Missouri, the number 2 Willis was still available at that time. They could have got 1 and 2.
I think
But
the other thing,
I think that the last pick they got, the King kid,
he should have gone the 5th round, 4th round.
He's
I'm
gonna be
shocked
a
he was
player.
there.
Yeah.
And I think there's a chance Michael Pratt, the quarterback from
He'll be
Tulane,
number
is
2.
not bad.
he'll be the number 2.
In fact, I would have rather had him over a bunch of these other quarterbacks that went in this draft.
Yeah, he'll be their number 2.
Tulane was rolling until he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then you could tell then the minute he wasn't on the field, Tulane
You know,
was totally
a lot
different.
of people, just like you're talking about with that punter, wonder why did Packers draft the Morgan kid first, the Morgan kid. They could have done better at tackle. Their offensive line set. They were drafting for depth.
Who's your left tackle?
Walker.
How did the heck Guyton that the Cowboys got? 'Cause that's
But
what I was gonna
what
have.
the Packers do with their line,
He'll probably be like you and I talked about the other day. He'll probably be a guard or he's first one to
they
swap in and out.
got to be able to play.
Yeah, you got
Let
to
You got to be able to play because you know what their GM says. You're gonna get people injured, and when you get them injured, you want to be able to move
The other
around.
interesting pick was the running back Marshawn Lloyd out of USC, formerly of South Carolina. Really fast, speedy, good hands, catches the
Big.
football. He's a good player.
Let me ask y'all something. here we are. We're going through this, and we're making our speculations, and we're saying, oh, they should have done this, or they could have done that, or they ought to have done this. How much of that noise, like from all these commentators, just like us sitting here that are on ESPN and NFL Network and all this, how much noise of that filters into these guys that are actually making decisions? And do they just have to tune it out?
None. They don't listen to it.
All of us out here speculating don't
care.
I know. All of us sitting out here don't have the information they do.
And that's why I say when I say, listen, I told Aaron when we sat down to watch a draft together, he said, "What do you think, Daddy?" I said, "I think their GM will do what they need to do because he studied more of this than we have,
and he's getting paid to do it.
And he's getting paid to do it."
But you know what?
But I did pick one or two of their picks. I did. When they got ready to draft in the second round, I said, "Fix to see Cooper right here."
Oh yeah, I love it.
This is one of the fun things of trying to figure out what they're going to do and why they did it and watch it unfold. This is the fun part of NFL.
But the interesting thing for the Titans, if you listen to Mr. Rand Carthon talk, everything is about collaboration. It's about what did my DC need. He's letting that head coach is going to let his DC coach.
Right.
He's not messing with it. He's not fooling with it. He's going to fool the offense, and he's got his daddy to lean on. I see a coaching staff here that's different than what we had before because I don't see one guy just dominating the room.
Yeah. Here's something else about the Packers draft that you probably don't realize. They drafted 11.
Mm-hmm.
6 of them were captains. 6 of them were team captains. So what's that mean? Locker room leadership. 6 of the 11 that they
drafted. Can you have too many, though?
Were team captains.
No, I'm second guess. I'm always second guess. Okay,
no.
All right.
Never have too much leadership. People, what's a captain do? He does the right thing when nobody else is watching.
Brings unity.
I mean, the name of a leader is anybody can do the right thing when you're watching me. But you're doing the right thing when nobody's watching, that's when you got something.
Yeah. And that's going to be your big pick, I think, for the Titans. It's going to be that Cedric Gray, that linebacker they got in the 4th round.
Yeah.
He's not Edgar Cooper, but he can wear the green dot. He's smart, and he's got a knack and a nose for the football. Interceptions,
North
fumbles.
Carolina
linebacker. He's a good player.
He's a good player.
And the Titans needed that. And then I think he can do the green dot thing. And then you let Murray you brought in. And we all remember what a player he was at Oklahoma. He was a top 10 first-round pick. I just think the Chargers used him in the wrong way. That's the guy that needs to be your alpha dog that's firing. Let Gray call it and do the backstop. I don't think that was Murray's game, and I think that hurt him here. Now you've got Gray. Hopefully Murray is coming downhill because that's what he does. He was dominant, guys, at Oklahoma, a dominant linebacker.
Well, it'll be fun to watch all this stuff play out.
And I think Coach Bush, the linebackers coach of the Titans, one of the best in the league. I like the way that staff's come together.
Say all that stuff. Better be that offensive line. Better be right.
You got the best offensive line coach possibly in NFL history.
Disagree.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch this play out.
And look how we changed. We got a center.
Yeah,
we got a left tackle. We got a new guard.
It's going to be a different team.
Either Petit Ferrer is going to be your right tackle or Dylan Radins, but you got options now too. It's not like last year.
You got to be able to move them and slide them in or slide them out or do whatever you got to do.
I think the Brunskill kid, the right guard, we brought in. I think he's. I don't think he's.
Who's the brains of the bunch? Who's going to be your center?
The center.
Okay, no. Who is he?
Kusenberry. He's going to be the brains.
One that they brought in.
One they brought in from Denver. One of the best centers in the league. Was the best free agent center, bar none. LSU guy.
He's the glue right there.
He's going to be your glue. But your left tackle from Alabama is going to be the stud for the next 10 years around here.
All right.
I'm telling you.
Hey.
Like Nick Saban says, he ever gets his hands on you, you're done.
They say, but he was a right tackle. He was a right tackle. You know why he was a right tackle at Alabama? Because when he came in, they had Neal and then
they didn't need him.
And they didn't need him there. So he was at right tackle because he had played left tackle at IMG.
All 4 years.
He started at defensive. He started on the defense. And they asked him why he went to offense. It's because their 2 offensive tackles got hurt. And they needed some, so he went there, and he started.
He was the number 1 tackle in America that year too.
Yeah,
a 5-star recruit.
But he went to right, and then after Neal left, they brought in the other 2 guys, and instead of redoing the whole line, he just stayed there and let the others.
Plus, I think they were really young at right guard, and Saban was covering that up too by putting him there. But if you watch the tape of him,
okay, right now, he's
I liked him better than all because He's dominating and pancaking Georgia players, Michigan, Texas
Yeah.
players. Watch all
Yeah.
play. Notre Dame, honestly, you play 2 or 3 games a year. The rest of the time, it's Navy and Air Force.
I was a big alt guy, and you'd heard me, but when I saw him get up out of that chair, he's a massive human being.
Yeah, he is.
And the way he had to maneuver and all, I'm just wondering how much maneuvering he's going to be able to do with these high-class skilled athletes coming at him.
Because he's not near the athlete that
He's
Latham
not
is.
an athlete.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what other general managers had said too. And the interesting thing for the Titans will be, finally, I think we'll have this thing solidified. But Latham has been working at left tackle ever since the season was over. And if Coach Callahan says he can do it, I'm not even worried about
Don't
it in
even
the
worry
least
about
bit.
it. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
him, I trust.
Yeah.
Because I think your coaching in the offensive line has been so poor, and now it's gone from poor to outstanding. And some of these guys, even on this team, like a Dylan Ravens or a Petit
Yeah.
Frere, may look totally different after Callahan gets a hold of them.
You talk about all this stuff, and we talk about all these players, and all their camps are starting up right now, and all of the stuff is volunteering. Aaron went back Sunday. He started Monday, Tuesday. This is his first week back. He said, "Daddy, you know what the thing about the Packers this year is? It's been different." I said, "What's that?" He said, "How many starters, how many of the ones that were coming back from last year's team, the starters, how many of you think have missed this volunteer?"
None of them.
Not a one.
If you want to win the
this year.
Super Bowl, you're going to be there.
Not a one this year. One of them, Alexander, the big corner, he went up to him and he said, "Guys, this time last year I wasn't even here. I was out doing what I
Yep.
do and all
Yeah.
that." He said, can be special.
Exactly.
This can be special. Every team can be special if you got the attitude and the mind.
Yeah.
Because you don't know when the breaks are going to be. All you got to do is get in the dance.
Yeah, yeah. Well, guys, we need to wrap this thing up.
Absolutely.
We're going to have one more week next week. We'll be wrapping up high school baseball with Cascades wind down. I'm sure they're left. So
We'll have a lot of the
some
softball.
Yeah. So, but next week's going to be our last show, guys. It's been
And
a
we're
fun
going to come
year,
back
and,
when? What part of July we're going to come back?
right when the 7-on-7 start, probably mid-July. We don't have the date yet, but we'll set that out there and let everybody know. But guys, we've enjoyed being here this year. We're
Yep.
going to wrap things up next year. And again, we want to thank our
Next
sponsors.
week.
Next week.
Yeah, but next
And
year
we're going to do
will
one
be-
more
yeah.
baseball show at some point
Yeah.
here and show off the
And
facility
you know
for the
what?
press box.
Yeah, and you know, this gap from now till July is not going to be very long. So it's just
Not
a
long.
few
Not
weeks.
going to be long.
It's going to be a few weeks, and we'll be right back in the heat of the summer, getting ready for football. We'll talk about football.
And you said we'll have a new when we come back.
Yeah, well, hopefully
We're
we'll
hopefully
have
having a
things-
new-
yeah, nicer little studio here.
A little upgrade.
Little upgrade situation, yeah. But guys, it's been fun. Thanks for watching this morning. Again, we
Yeah.
want to thank our sponsors, First Bank of Shelbyville, Kincaid,
Service.
Company.
right here on Madison Street in Shelbyville, and Corner Cleaners out on North Main Street.
And if they can clean this man's stuff, they can clean yours. I
Absolutely.
can promise you.
That's right.
Even
Thanks
Coach
again.
Jones agreed to that last week.
Thanks again for watching. We'll be back.